NFL's 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. Who's the greatest quarterback in NFL history? That question starts more arguments than any other debate in sports, and we're about to settle it once and for all. When viewers see this, they're asking, who makes the top 10? Where does Brady rank? Did my favorite quarterback get left out? Here's the truth. These 10 quarterbacks changed football forever. They won championships, broke records, and dominated their eras in ways that made them legends. This isn't just a ranking. This is the definitive list of the 10 greatest signal callers to ever step on an NFL field. Number 10, Brett Favre. The gunslinger from Mississippi who played football like he was throwing a backyard barbecue. Favre won 3 straight MVP awards from 1995 to 1997. 3 consecutive years as the best player in football. Nobody else has done that at quarterback. He played 20 seasons, started 297 consecutive games, and threw for 71,838 yards and 508 touchdowns. But here's what made Favre special. He played with pure joy. Every snap looked like the first time he'd ever thrown a football. He'd make the most incredible throw you've ever seen, then follow it up with the dumbest interception imaginable. That was Favre. He won 1 Super Bowl with Green Bay and should have won more, but his gambler mentality cost him in big moments. Favre proved that you don't need to be perfect to be great. You just need to be fearless and make more good plays than bad ones. But playing with joy is one thing. What if you played with ice-cold precision instead? What if every throw was calculated, every decision perfect? That's what made our next quarterback so special. Number 9, Aaron Rodgers, the most talented quarterback to ever play the position. 4 MVP awards. Only Peyton Manning has more. Rodgers won his MVPs in 2011, 2014, 2020, and 2021. His career passer rating is 103.6, the highest in NFL history for any quarterback with significant playing time. Rodgers could make throws that nobody else could even attempt. Sidearm, no look, off platform, it didn't matter. If he saw a window, the ball was going through it. He won 1 Super Bowl with Green Bay, which is honestly disappointing for someone this talented. The problem with Rodgers was never his ability. It was everything else. His relationships with coaches, his approach to the game, his personality. Rodgers made football look easy, but also made it seem complicated. He's the smartest guy in every room and wants everyone to know it. So far in his career, he has over 59,000 passing yards and 475 touchdowns, numbers that are still growing to this day. Rodgers proved that pure talent isn't always enough. Sometimes you need the right situation, the right teammates, and the right mentality to maximize greatness. Speaking of the right mentality, our next quarterback had something Rodgers never did: the ability to win Super Bowls without having the best talent around him. Number 8, John Elway, the ultimate winner who dragged mediocre teams to championships. Elway made 5 Super Bowl appearances, winning 2 of them late in his career. His first 3 Super Bowl trips were disasters. The Broncos got blown out all 3 times, but Elway kept coming back, kept fighting, kept believing. Then, in 1997 and 1998, he finally got it done. Back-to-back championships to close out his career. Elway finished with 51,475 passing yards and 300 touchdown passes. Not the most impressive stats on this list, but numbers never told Elway's story. He won with his legs, his arm, and his sheer refusal to lose. The drive, the fumble. Elway's career is defined by moments, not statistics. He could scramble out of trouble, throw frozen ropes 60 yards downfield, and lead comebacks that seemed impossible. Elway proved that heart matters as much as talent, that showing up when it matters most defines greatness. But showing up in the big moments is nothing compared to dominating those moments completely. Our next quarterback didn't just win Super Bowls, he was perfect in them. Number 7, Terry Bradshaw. 4 Super Bowl championships in 6 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bradshaw was the first quarterback to win 3 Super Bowls, then the first to win 4. In those 4 Super Bowl victories, he threw 9 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. He dominated when the lights were brightest. 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 8 Pro Bowl selections, MVP in 1978. Bradshaw finished his career with 27,989 passing yards and 212 touchdowns. Those numbers look small compared to modern quarterbacks, but he played in a different era. The 1970 Steelers were a running team built on defense, but when they needed Bradshaw to win games with his arm, he delivered. The playoff stats tell the story: 30 touchdowns, 26 interceptions in 19 playoff games. He played in an era where passing was harder, defenses could destroy receivers, and quarterbacks took brutal hits. Bradshaw proved that winning championships is the ultimate measuring stick. Stats matter, but rings matter more. Speaking of rings versus stats, our next quarterback had both, and he redefined what it meant to be a pocket passer. Number 6, Dan Marino, the greatest quarterback to never win a Super Bowl. Marino's 1984 season is still one of the best quarterback performances ever. 5,084 passing yards and 48 touchdowns. In 1984, those numbers were science fiction at the time. He retired as the all-time leader in passing yards, 61,361, and touchdown passes, 420. It took a different era of football for everyone to pass him. 9 Pro Bowls, 3 MVP awards, and a career passer rating of 86.4 in an era where that was elite. Marino revolutionized the quarterback position. Before him, quarterbacks handed off and threw occasionally. Marino made passing the offense. The problem was never Marino, it was the teams around him. Miami's defense wasn't good enough. The offensive line wasn't consistent enough. The supporting cast wasn't championship level. Marino carried those teams to the playoffs year after year anyway. He made the Super Bowl once in 1984 as a second-year player, lost to the 49ers, and never got back. That's the tragedy of Marino. He was good enough to win championships, but never had enough help. But having help is what separates good quarterbacks from legendary ones. Our next quarterback had plenty of help and used it to build a dynasty. Number 5, Johnny Unitas, the original franchise quarterback who defined the position for a generation. Unitas threw a touchdown in 47 consecutive games from 1956 to 1960. That record stood for 52 years until Drew Brees broke it. 3 MVP awards, 5 championships including 1 Super Bowl, and 10 Pro Bowl selections. Unitas finished with 40,239 passing yards and 290 touchdowns in an era where passing was almost impossible. Defensive backs could destroy receivers, pass interference barely existed, and quarterbacks got hit on every play. Unitas played through broken ribs, separated shoulders, and constant punishment that would end careers today. He wore high-top cleats, a crew cut, and carried himself like a champion. Unitas was the first quarterback who looked like a leader, acted like a professional, and demanded excellence. The 1958 NFL Championship game, the greatest game ever played, was Unitas leading a comeback that put the NFL on the map. Unitas proved that quarterbacks could be the face of a franchise, the leader of a team, and the reason fans showed up to the stadiums. But being the face of a franchise is one thing. Being perfect when everything is on the line, that's what separates legends from immortals. Number 4, Joe Montana. Joe Cool, the most clutch quarterback in NFL history. 4 Super Bowl championships, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, never threw an interception in 4 Super Bowl appearances. Montana's playoff resume is perfect. 16 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in Super Bowl games, not one mistake when it mattered most. He finished his career with 40,551 passing yards and 273 touchdowns. Again, those numbers don't look massive by modern standards, but Montana played in an era where passing wasn't the entire offense. The 1989 Super Bowl against Cincinnati, Montana led a 92-yard drive in the final minutes to win the championship. That's who he was. The 1981 NFC Championship game against Dallas, the catch to Dwight Clark. Montana found a way when there was no way. He never panicked, never lost composure, never let the moment get too big. Montana proved that greatness isn't just about statistics. It's about performing when the pressure is highest and the stakes are everything. Bill Walsh's West Coast offense made Montana's job easier, and he had Jerry Rice and great defenses. But Montana was the one making the throws, leading the comebacks, winning the championships. 4 rings in 9 years as a starter. That's dynasty level dominance. But 4 championships in 9 years? Our next quarterback did something even more impressive with similar numbers. Number 3, Peyton Manning, the greatest regular season quarterback ever to play the game. 5 MVP awards, the most in NFL history. Nobody else has won more than 4. Manning finished with 71,940 passing yards and 539 touchdowns, both records when he retired. 14 Pro Bowl selections, 7 first-team All-Pro honors. He was the best quarterback in football for over a decade. Manning changed how quarterbacks prepare, study film, and call plays at the line of scrimmage. He made Omaha a household word. The problem with Manning is the postseason. He won 2 Super Bowls, but also had devastating playoff losses. One-and-done playoff exits, getting blown out by Seattle in Super Bowl 48, throwing interceptions in big moments. Manning's regular season dominance is unquestionable. His playoff legacy is complicated. But here's what people forget. Manning dragged some mediocre Colts teams to the playoffs through sheer force of will. He made everyone around him better. He revolutionized the position by being a coach on the field. Every play was adjusted, every protection was checked, every route was modified based on what he saw. Manning proved that preparation and football IQ can overcome physical limitations. He wasn't the strongest arm or the most mobile, but he was the smartest. Speaking of overcoming limitations, our top 2 quarterbacks took everything Manning did and added championship pedigree that can't be questioned. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Wait, Patrick Mahomes at number 2? Already? Yes, Mahomes has already done enough to be the second greatest quarterback ever, and he's not even 30 years old. 3 Super Bowl championships in 5 years as a starter, 3 Super Bowl MVP awards, 2 regular season MVP awards. Mahomes is 70-22 as a starter in the regular season. That's a ridiculous winning percentage. In the playoffs, he's 17-3 with 3 championships, 17 playoff wins before age 30. Mahomes does things nobody else can do. No-look passes, sidearm throws, behind-the-back completions. He makes impossible plays look routine. His career passer rating is 103.7, second only to Aaron Rodgers. But Rodgers has 1 ring. Mahomes has 3. The argument against Mahomes being this high is longevity. He's only been starting for 7 seasons. But in those 7 seasons, he's accomplished more than most quarterbacks do in 15-year careers. Mahomes is on pace to become the greatest quarterback ever. He's already changed how the position is played and won championships at a rate only one other quarterback has matched. If he plays another decade at this level, the number 1 spot won't even be a debate anymore. But for now, there's still one quarterback above him. The man who defined winning, broke every record, and played for so long that 2 generations of fans watched him dominate. Number 1, Tom Brady. The greatest quarterback in NFL history. The GOAT. No debate. 7 Super Bowl championships, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, 3 regular season MVP awards. Brady finished with 89,214 passing yards and 649 touchdowns, both all-time records by massive margins. He played 23 seasons, won championships in 3 different decades, made 10 Super Bowl appearances. Brady was drafted 199th overall in the 6th round. Nobody wanted him. Everyone passed on him. Then he became the greatest player in NFL history. The numbers are so absurd that they don't even sound real. 251 career wins, 15 Pro Bowls, 36 playoff victories. Brady won his first Super Bowl at 24 years old and his last one at 43. 20 years between championships. He left New England after 20 years, went to Tampa Bay, and immediately won another championship, just to prove it wasn't Bill Belichick making him great. Brady played in an era where rules protected quarterbacks, but he also played in an era where defenses were faster, schemes were more complex, and competition was tougher. The 28-3 comeback against Atlanta, the game-winning drive against Seattle, the multiple Super Bowl victories in the final minutes. Brady made everyone around him better. Receivers who were mediocre everywhere else became Pro Bowlers in New England. Offensive lines that were average played like all pros. The work ethic was legendary. The TB12 method, the diet, the flexibility training. Brady treated his body like a science experiment and played until he was 45 years old. But what really separates Brady from everyone else is the winning. He won 77% of his regular season games and 75% of his playoff games. Most quarterbacks would be thrilled to win 60% of their games. Brady won 3 out of every 4 games he played for 23 years. Montana was clutch. Manning was smart. Mahomes is talented. But Brady was all of those things combined with an obsessive drive to win that nobody else matched. 7 championships. 7. Michael Jordan has 6. LeBron has 4. Brady has 7. That's not just greatness. That's immortality. The GOAT debate. So why is Brady number 1 over Montana, Manning, and Mahomes? It comes down to longevity, championships, and total dominance. Montana is 4-0 in Super Bowls and perfect in big moments. But he only started 9 full seasons and retired at 38. Brady played 23 seasons and won 7 championships. Manning has 5 MVPs and revolutionized the position, but 2 Super Bowls in 18 seasons isn't enough to overcome Brady's 7 rings. Mahomes is the most talented quarterback ever and could eventually surpass Brady, but could eventually doesn't beat already did. The argument for Montana is that he never lost a Super Bowl, but Brady making 10 Super Bowls is more impressive than Montana making 4. The argument for Manning is regular season dominance, but Brady has more playoff wins, 36, than Manning has playoff appearances, 27. The argument for Mahomes is that he's doing it faster, but Brady sustained excellence for over 2 decades. We don't know if Mahomes will do that. Brady's longevity is actually underrated in these debates. Playing at an elite level for 23 years is nearly impossible. The human body isn't designed for that. Brady also won in different eras. The early 2000s NFL was different from the 2010s NFL, was different from the 2020s NFL. He adapted and kept winning. He won with defense-first teams in New England. He won with offensive juggernauts in New England. He won with a complete team in Tampa Bay. Brady proved that you can win in any way imaginable as long as you're the quarterback making the plays. The mental toughness is what really separates Brady. Down 28-3, he's not worried. Multiple Super Bowl losses doesn't affect the next one. Most quarterbacks crack under pressure. Brady lived for pressure. The others who almost made it. There are incredible quarterbacks who didn't make this top 10. Let's give them some respect. Drew Brees, 80,358 passing yards, 571 touchdowns, 1 Super Bowl. If not for Brady and Manning playing at the same time, Brees would be remembered even more. Otto Graham won 7 championships in 10 seasons, played before the Super Bowl era, which makes him hard to rank, but his dominance was unmatched. Roger Staubach, 2 Super Bowl championships, 4 Super Bowl appearances, Mr. Clutch before Montana, played when quarterbacks got destroyed on every play. Fran Tarkenton, revolutionary scrambler who changed what quarterbacks could do, never won a championship but made 3 Super Bowls. Steve Young, Montana's replacement, who won a Super Bowl and 3 MVPs and had the highest passer rating in history when he retired. Warren Moon, over 49,000 passing yards, Hall of Famer who had to prove himself in Canada first because of discrimination, never got a fair shot until his late 20s. Bart Starr won 5 NFL championships, including the first 2 Super Bowls, the definition of a winner in the 1960s. Ben Roethlisberger, 2 Super Bowl championships, made 3 Super Bowl appearances, over 64,000 passing yards. Big Ben was the ultimate big game quarterback. These guys are all-time greats. Any of them could be in someone else's top 10, but the 10 we chose had the best combination of championships, stats, and impact on the game. The quarterback position is impossible to rank objectively. Do you value championships over stats? Longevity over peak? Talent over winning? Everyone has different criteria, which is why these debates never end. But if you're building a franchise and can have any quarterback ever in their prime for 1 season, who do you take? Montana if you need someone perfect in the Super Bowl. Manning if you need regular season dominance. Mahomes if you need impossible plays. Rodgers if you need pure arm talent. But if you need someone who will win games, elevate everyone around them, and perform in the biggest moments for 2 decades, You take Brady every single time. The evolution of the position. Looking at this list shows how the quarterback position has evolved. Unitas and Bradshaw played when defenses could kill receivers and quarterbacks had zero protection. Throwing for 3,000 yards was elite. Montana revolutionized the West Coast offense and proved that precision beats power. Marino showed that passing could be the entire offense, not just part of it. Elway proved that mobility and arm strength could overcome talent deficiencies elsewhere. Favre brought gunslinger mentality and showed that risk-taking could win championships. Manning turned quarterbacks into coaches on the field who controlled everything pre-snap. Brady combined all of its precision, longevity, leadership, and winning into one complete package. Rodgers showed that pure arm talent and arm strength could reach new levels. Mahomes is creating a new category where improvisation meets efficiency. The position keeps evolving. In 20 years, we might have quarterbacks doing things we can't even imagine now. But these 10 set the standard. They're the measuring stick for every quarterback who comes after. These 10 quarterbacks represent the absolute peak of NFL greatness. They won championships, broke records, and changed how football is played. Debates about rankings will never end. Someone will always argue their guy should be higher, or that someone got left out. That's what makes these conversations great. There's no perfect answer. But if you're starting a franchise and need a quarterback, you can't go wrong with anyone on this list. From Bradshaw's championships, to Montana's clutch gene, to Manning's intelligence, to Brady's winning, these quarterbacks defined excellence. Thanks for watching this journey through NFL history. Hit subscribe if you want more content celebrating the legends who made football the greatest sport in the world. And remember, we're watching Mahomes potentially climb to the #1 spot in real time. Enjoy it while it lasts, because greatness like this doesn't come around often.